Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unlocking some absolutely crucial French grammar. But hey, we're not going to do it by staring at some dry, boring list of rules. No way. Instead, we're stepping right into the shoes of a brand new student arriving at a French high school. It's a day-in-the-life narrative. By immersing ourselves in this very first day at the Lycée, we'll see exactly how the real building blocks of the French language get used in everyday, real-world situations. It's going to be fun.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First step, welcome to the Lycée. Then, describing new faces. After that, we'll cover family and possessions. Then we'll get into navigating your space, and finally, putting it all together.
Section 1. Welcome to the Lycée. Day 1 Introductions.
So, imagine walking through those double doors on your very first day of school. Before you even start worrying about your schedule or where on earth the cafeteria is, you gotta introduce yourself, right? Well, picture the teacher, Mr. Lefevre, meeting his new students. He kicks things off with a simple, friendly bonjour and starts getting to know everyone. Listen to the back and forth. He asks one student, "Tu t'appelles comment?" And the student shoots back, "Je m'appelle Ali." Ali then adds that he's 14 and says, "Je viens du Senegal." I come from Senegal. Mr. Lefevre follows up by asking his nationality, and Ali replies, "Je suis Senegalais." You see what's happening here? This is a brilliant example of seeing grammar out in the wild. Before we even crack open the textbook to look at the rules, we're actually watching exactly how verbs and nationalities are used to establish identity on day 1.
Now, speaking of that first day, you know you're inevitably going to have to fill out some paperwork. It's just a universal rule of school. And that brings us to our first major grammar tool, regular IR verbs. The source material uses the absolute perfect example here, remplir, which literally means to fill out or to fill. Now, French verbs are highly structured. It's kind of like a puzzle. If you learn the pattern for just one regular IR verb, you instantly unlock hundreds of others. It's a total game changer. So you drop the IR from the end of the word, and you add these specific endings. Je remplis, with an S, means I fill out. Tu remplis, also with an S, is you fill out. Il or elle remplit gets a T. Then for the plural, it gets a bit longer, but it's super rhythmic. Nous remplissons, we fill out. Vous remplissez, you all fill out. And ils or elles remplissent, they fill out. By mastering this one simple pattern, you are literally expanding what you can say in French exponentially.
All right, moving on to Section 2, describing new faces, people and nationalities.
Okay, so once the paperwork is out of the way and you're finally sitting at your desk, what's the very next logical step? You start noticing your classmates and, let's be real, probably gossiping a little bit about the new teachers. Take Pauline and Nargis, for example. They're chatting right before music class about their brand new Italian music teacher, Madame Carla Tosti. Pay close attention to the specific descriptive words Pauline uses to paint a picture for Nargis. She asks, "Est-elle jeune? Is she young?" Pauline confirms that yes, she's very young. Then she drops phrases like longs cheveux blonds for long blonde hair and yeux bleus for blue eyes. She even mentions that the teacher has a visage souriant, a smiling face. This is exactly how physical descriptions naturally weave their way into our everyday chats.
Now, when we're describing people, especially in a super diverse classroom, we often talk about where they're from. So here is a totally crucial point, understanding how French nationality adjectives actually work. In French, adjectives absolutely have to match the gender of the person you're describing, period. If a boy is from Senegal, like our friend Ali, he is Senegalaise. But if a girl is from Senegal, she is Senegalaise. You literally just tack an E onto the end. Similarly, a boy from Canada is Canadien, but a girl is Canadienne, with a double N and an E. This right here is a foundational rule of the French language. Words literally shapeshift, depending on exactly who they are attached to.
And we've got a fantastic toolkit of vocabulary to describe absolutely anyone you might bump into. You've got age and height, grand for tall, petit for short. Body types like mince for thin. You can describe a face shape as ovale, rond for round, or carré for square. What about hair? It can be longs, courts for short, raids for straight, or frises for curly. You can even point out specific features, like a nez pointu, a pointed nose, or lunettes for glasses. Actually, let's do something fun. I want you to take a quick second right now and mentally apply these exact traits to yourself. Seriously, how would you describe your own hair or face shape in French right this second? It is a really great way to make these words actually stick in your brain.
Section 3. Family and possessions. Talking about others.
So, as you start making friends, your conversations are naturally going to shift over to their personal lives and their families. Picture Ali hanging out with his new buddy Denis. Denis pulls out a photograph of his family to show Ali. He points to the picture and says, "Voici mon père, here is my father. À côté, c'est ma mère, next to him is my mother." He keeps going, pointing out mon grand-père, my grandfather, and ma tante Sophie, my aunt Sophie. What we're seeing here are possessive adjectives, those handy little words like my, your, or his, functioning completely naturally in a real, relaxed conversation between two friends.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept, and honestly something that often trips up native English speakers, is how ownership works. Think about it. In English, if a boy owns a book, we say his book. If a girl owns a book, we say her book. The word changes based entirely on the owner. But in French, ownership depends completely on the gender of the object being owned, regardless of who actually owns it. Because a father is masculine, Denis says mon père. Because a mother is feminine, he says ma mère. My becomes mon for masculine things, and ma for feminine things. Your is ton or ta. His or her is son or sa. So wrap your head around this. A girl would still say mon père to talk about her dad, because the word père itself is masculine. It's a total shift in perspective, isn't it?
And we can build right on top of that gender concept with demonstrative adjectives. Look, that's really just a fancy academic term for saying this or that. Just like with my and your, the word for this changes depending on the object. If you want to say this boy, you simply say ce garçon. If it's this girl, you switch to cette fille. And for plurals, it's super easy. C'est pour les enfants. But wait for it, there is a special, very French exception that you absolutely need to know. Take the phrase this man, for example. The word for man, homme, is masculine, but it starts with a silent H that acts just like a vowel sound. Now, the French absolutely hate it when two vowel sounds bump into each other. It sounds super clunky to them. So instead of the awkward ce homme, they sneak in a T to make a bridge. Cet homme. See? It just flows beautifully.
Okay, Section 4. Navigating your space. Spatial prepositions.
All right, let's recap. You've introduced yourself, you've described your friends, and you've talked about family. Now we actually need to navigate this new physical environment. To find your desk or, figure out where you left your backpack, we need spatial prepositions. The source material gives us these fantastic, slightly goofy visual mnemonics to really ground these spatial concepts. Just picture this dog Yo-Yo and a mischievous cat getting into all sorts of crazy predicaments on, under, and next to various pieces of furniture. It's a really lighthearted, fun way to lock these super important positional words right into your memory.
In fact, I want to directly challenge you to actively engage with this right now. Mentally place that cat. If I ask you, où est le chat? Where is the cat? In relation to the television, or maybe the chair. Is the cat chilling on top of it, hiding underneath it, sneaking behind it? Being able to instantly visualize these positions is an absolute game changer for your fluency.
Let's break down a highly efficient memorization technique for these exact prepositions. Don't just try to learn them as some random massive list. Learn them in opposite pairs. It's so much easier. We have sur, which means on, and its direct opposite, sous, which means under. We've got avant for before, and après for after. Devant for in front, and derrière for behind. Avec for with, and sans for without. By grouping them up exactly this way, your brain anchors the meaning of one word directly to the other. So if you know sure, you're going to easily remember its mirror image, sous.
And that brings us to Section 5. Putting it together, practice your skills.
Let's take a quick second to remind ourselves of the incredibly powerful grammatical toolkit you've literally just acquired today. From introducing your name and your nationality to describing the physical traits of your new teachers, talking about your family's possessions, and physically navigating the classroom space, you now hold the core blocks of the French language. The source textbook actually provides some absolutely excellent exercises to test these exact skills immediately, forcing you to combine your new verbs, adjectives, and prepositions. And honestly, that's exactly what you should do next. Because, as we all know, practice makes perfect.
Because ultimately, what is all this grammar actually for? Seeing the Eiffel Tower sitting right next to the India Gate is this beautiful visual reminder that mastering these basic language blocks, the je suis, the mon père, the sir, and the sous, it really isn't just about passing some French test. It's about giving yourself the actual tools to bridge entirely distinct cultures, to step outside your own familiar world, and to truly, deeply connect with someone else's. So, as you think about these two totally iconic monuments side by side, ask yourself, where will these foundational French skills take you next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.